Hello everybody, Dokkan Assets here. Today we are back with another figure unboxing video. And ladies and gentlemen, you know I've been waiting for this video for a fat minute. I know you've been waiting for this video for a fat minute. We finally are going to be taking a look at the Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle Figure Collab 2022, of course, that being our beautiful 7th anniversary Super Saiyan God boys here. We have Goku and Vegeta, and not only do we have both Goku and Vegeta, we are actually going to take a look at both figures in today's video. That's right. Let me turn off the light so you can see the box a little better. Hello! This is such a exciting drop for me personally, because I always look forward to the Dokkan Battle figures every single year, and this year I was really curious how they were going to do the figures, because obviously with the release of these new LRs, it's not just one character that they were going to do, right? Of course, they have a double character, by the way. We have the sticker there, and we have the sticker there with the Dokkan Battle logo on top, which looks great, by the way. It's so weird seeing the Dokkan logo on, like, an official product, considering the fact that, you know, like, it's a mobile game. It's pretty crazy. But with that being said about how these figures are going to be made, we're going to take a look at Goku first, by the way. Or I guess we're taking a look at Vegeta first, because that box is already down. I was curious what they were going to do since there was two characters, right? And lo and behold, what they decide to do is completely beyond expectation, and honestly, people were like, yeah, there's no way that they're going to do that in the figure collecting community, and they did. Bandai actually came through. I can't believe it. They decided to make two figures that combine into one for the Super Saiyan Gods. And for the Super Saiyan 4s, obviously, instead of doing more Super Saiyan 4 figures, since we've kind of gotten a lot of those as of recently, we ended up getting the Figure Arts Zero, excuse me, I almost said Figure Rise, Gogeta. So that I will be taking a look at eventually when I can get my hands on that too. But today, we're focusing on the gods, baby. I am so excited about these figures. I did cop both of these guys, each for about 27 bucks. I'm looking for the hole, by the way. There it is. From the Big Bad Toy Store. Weirdly enough, even though they should be released on store shelves and stuff like that by now, I couldn't find them at any of my usual places, and even my usual place that I get figures did not have them available for sale, but Big Bad Toy Store did. Not sponsored or anything like that, but I don't even think these guys are on Amazon yet, so if you want to cop these for yourself, or check out the description, rather. I was going to say leave a like. I mean, well, yeah, do that too if you want these figures. Definitely leave a like. Thank you, YouTube Subliminal Subconscious. But yeah, definitely go cop these guys from Big Bad Toy Store if you would like a copy for yourself. And on that note, sorry about that, my camera just decided to cut out. With this figure, it's really cool that they decided to include the Dokkan Battle logo on the actual base itself, rather than, if you're familiar with the past anniversary figures, they usually give us something like this. Sometimes they're blue, sometimes they're gray, but it's literally just a little stand with the logo on it. So it's cool that instead of giving you a separate piece, they incorporated it into the base. And if you own a lot of these anniversary figures already, you definitely don't need another one of those. Also, the ice being the actual base is super cool, because of course, you know, this is supposed to be based on the Broly movie, and instead of just giving us a lame black base, they actually give us something a little bit more unique, which is pretty cool. So let's go ahead and put Vegeta together now. His head does go this way. Keep that in mind when you're putting it together, and it will slide on nice and easy just like that. In terms of the figure itself, this is a very nice Broly movie Super Saiyan God Gogeta. I think, or Gogeta. Well, I mean, not yet. Soon to be, don't you worry. But this guy's armor really encapsulates the look of the Broly movie a lot as well. I feel like the face sculpt really captures the Super Saiyan God look of Vegeta. I think they nailed it very, very much so. Again, this figure looks very simplistic in its detailing, and I think that that fits a lot for the Broly movie style. The Broly movie? Yup. Alright, so the only unfortunate thing about this figure that I actually did notice when looking at it is, of course, we have the pegs for the feet, which is interesting because usually most figures can stand flat and they have a hole in their back, but they decided to do it differently this time. With this though, obviously you're going to be putting it into the peg, but the problem is, as you can see there, the other peg doesn't reach. Sometimes this does happen with Bam Presto figures, and when that's the case, unfortunately you have to stretch the leg a little bit, and then it will end up fitting in the peg. It is kind of an unfortunate fact, because obviously you're sort of stretching the figure a little bit, and to be fair, when it is in these pegs for a long enough time, the legs will just sort of naturally end up like that. Maybe they'll squeeze a little bit if you take them off again, but I think it'll be alright. Besides that though, as a standalone figure, wow, this is really, really cool. I definitely like the look of this Vegeta a lot. I like the paint job that they went with for the hair as well. A lot of the times for Super Saiyan God, they have a hard time picking what hair color they want to go with. And I think that this sort of like crimson red almost is definitely a very, very nice choice. And as a standalone figure, this is also really, really cool too. But of course, we want to get the boys. So let's go ahead and crack into the Goku here. I am so excited to open these, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh. Literally, as soon as they announced these figures, I lost my mind. The Dokkan figures are always the most exciting thing for me to open when it comes to Dragon Ball figures all year, because it's the best of both worlds, right? I collect Dragon Ball figures, and obviously, you know, I play Dokkan on Dokkan assets, all that good stuff. So it's always super awesome to have a crossover of those two things that I really, really enjoy. Wow, the logo on Goku's back looks huge. That's big. That's a big logo right there. Let's go ahead and get him out of the plastic. Now, one interesting thing about this figure that we will see in a minute is that the bases don't actually connect in any way. The box art sort of makes them look like they connect together, but they don't actually like hook up in any way. They quite literally just sit next to each other, which I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing, because then that way, right, if you want to remove the figure and then put something else next to it, or if you want to change the space on the shelf, or you want to adjust the boys in a certain way that, you know, you feel that they'll look a little bit better than the way that the setup wants you to have it, then you can do that. So I kind of like that a little bit better than them actually connecting. But the reason why they don't connect is kind of strange, I will admit. So it's literally just the same base again. And I don't mean that in like, oh, it's the same looking, you know, like ice base with the Dokkan Battle logo on it. I mean, it is quite literally the same sculpted base. As you can see, it's the same shape. It's the same Dokkan Battle logo, right? The camera's having a hard time focusing on it. It's trying to focus on Vegeta. But you can see, right, that the camera, or that the camera isn't working. Well, yeah, that too. But it's the same shape, right? It is literally the same sculpted base, which, classic Bandai laziness. I suppose you can't escape it, but what are you going to do? Alright, so Goku's head should go in here a little bit easier for sure. Yeah, oh, that is very sharp, by the way. Definitely be careful. These spikes are, ow, a little bit sharp. In terms of Goku himself, this is, again, a very nice looking Broly movie Goku figure for sure. I really, really like, again, the sort of simplistic look of the sculpt. I think it looks fantastic. There's not really a lot of like deep cuts in the sculpting of like the pants and on the boots and stuff like that. I think that overall it just looks very, very nice, very simplistic, which again really fits the Broly movie style. Let's go ahead and hook the boy up now. I'm assuming it'll have to go like this, because obviously if it wants to even attempt to line up with Vegeta, that's how it's going to go. And Goku does fit a little bit better, but I have to stretch his foot just a tiny bit to get it to fit in there. But there he is. Wow, he's a little bit wobbly. Interesting. I guess that must be the base isn't completely flat on the bottom of the plastic, but it's not going to fall over or anything like that, right? It's very stable. This is a really nice looking Goku figure though. I think that I do like the Goku a little bit more than the Vegeta, just from a solo figure standpoint. That also might just be because I'm more of a Goku fan than a Vegeta fan. Not that I dislike Vegeta by any means, but, you know, I just prefer Goku over Vegeta. This is still a super great looking figure. I really like this. If this figure would have been released solo, even not related to Dokkan Battle, I think I would have got this just because I think it looks so good. But of course, the moment that you've all been waiting for, we gotta connect the boys. Here we go. Very cool. Look at these gamers together. Vegeta does have a very far back lean, but I think that is accurate to the card art, because let's go ahead and grab the box. Actually, we can look at the card art. Wow, it's like we have it on hand. Let's take a look here. Yeah, Vegeta, well, I guess it's not like a lean as much, but he is definitely like behind Goku a little bit for sure, and you might also be able to fix that a little bit too. But that does look really cool. Let me turn off the light real quick just so you can get a better look at the comparison to the box. That is definitely the same figure right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is a pretty accurate representation of the card art that they were trying to go for. Wow, it is really cool having these guys next to each other, I have to say. Obviously, looking forward to this figure for so long. I am so excited. And I will say, even though they don't like clip in together, if we take a look at their bases, it's going to be a little bit hard to lift up and for you to see. But they do fit together pretty well because obviously since it's the same shape, you know, they designed it to fit quite nicely with them just sort of nestled together here. But yeah, very nice looking figures for sure. Camera decided to come out again, but I suppose it was at the perfect time because we're moving on to the size comparisons, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we have our two usual figures, the Kuji Gotenks, and of course the Dokkan Battle WCF Blue Goku. These guys are a pretty decently sized figure. Obviously, they are regular Van Presto prize figures, so they're going to be nowhere close to the Kuji size, but especially since they are pretty wide, they do have quite a presence on the shelf, and as you can see, that looks to be about, I'd say like 8.5 inches. The camera itself, where it's at, makes them look a lot more like 9, even 10, but I would say from the angle that I'm at, it's about like 8 3/4, and as well, I'll also have already the official measurement for the figure on the screen. That's something that I would like to include going forward in these videos because I kind of forget that whenever these figures are listed, they have an official height available on the website that you can purchase them from. Alright, so let's get into our various different comparisons here. I have a ton of figures to compare these two with for you. So we're going to do a couple of quickies first before we get into the big guns. So I had to bring this guy out, not just because he is a Super Saiyan God figure, but obviously he was last year's golden boy in terms of... Look at how big he is in the camera. My gosh, my man is standing tall up there. We have the Ichiban Kuji Dokkan Battle Goku from the last year's Ichiban Kuji for Dokkan Battle. And these guys do look really cool together for sure. Obviously, it's always awesome seeing these LRs IRL standing next to each other. I think it is a really cool setup having a bunch of Dokkan Battle figures all next to each other because obviously if you play the game, you're like, hey, I know what that's from. I definitely would like to do a setup with these guys someday for sure and maybe get their card arts in the background. But these guys do look really cool together. Let's go ahead and get our tall boy off the stage. So we need some figures that are a little bit more comparable with this guy. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to keep these guys right here. And we're actually going to take a look at every single year of Dokkan Battle anniversary figures that we have ever gotten and that I own. That's right. So starting us off, we have the 4th anniversary figures with the LR Super Saiyan 4s. Ah, this is so cool, dude. It's so cool having all these figures based off of something from the same game on the screen. It is so neat. These guys are definitely a very cool setup together. And honestly, I think that these Super Saiyan God figures are very telling of how far we've come because obviously these were the first anniversary figures that we got from Dokkan Battle. And especially with Goku, even though I think Vegeta still holds up very well to this day. you can see how far we've come in terms of the modern day versions of these guys. I definitely like these Super Saiyan God figures a lot better. It is cool though, with all these anniversary figures, you will see a little bit of a different base than we usually get on figures. Obviously the Super Saiyan 4s have a rocky base there. Alright, moving on to the 5th anniversary. We, of course, have the LR Blue Gogeta and the Blue Vegito. Keep in mind, I have the last one prize base form Vegito version from that video where I absolutely decimated this guy because it's such a stinky figure. But these do also look really, really cool together. I think it will look even cooler once I eventually replace this guy with the Blue Gogeta, because if I'm going to have this figure on the shelf, I would honestly prefer to have the blue one. I thought it would look fine with the base one, and not that the hair color is bad, but obviously just to match with the game a little bit more. But nonetheless, still really, really cool. I definitely like having these guys as well. Obviously, having the 5th anniversary Blue Gogeta on the screen with the God Boys that eventually go into Gogeta is also really, really cool in it of itself. And we have the figure from last year, the Blue Evolution Vegeta. Now, unfortunately, I don't actually have, sorry Gogeta, I just kicked you down there. I don't actually have the MUI, so he is going to be replaced with a Bam Presto World Figure Coliseum MUI Goku, just because that's probably the best thing that I have, just to kind of replace Goku for the time being. Because that Goku figure, as unfortunate as it is, stinks. He's literally one of the worst figures that I've ever seen, and easily the worst Dokkan Battle figure that we've ever gotten. So I don't have him. I would like to get him someday if I could get him for pennies, just to have him for the sake of collection. But this Blue Evo looks absolutely fantastic next to these guys. Again, it is so cool having these Dokkan Battle specific figures on the stage with the other ones. It looks sick. I really, really like these guys next to the Super Saiyan Blue Evolution Vegeta. And our final pick for today, ladies and gentlemen, these are not technically Dokkan Battle figures, but they work all too well considering what these guys transform into the game. That's right, we have the Tag Fighters Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta. Oh my gosh, this is sick! This is so cool. So obviously this is the pose that their transformation art resembles in the game, and obviously this is just an iconic scene in the movie. So of course they're not going to make a Dokkan Battle version of this figure when we already have a couple versions of this pose as figures anyway. And not to mention, you can just get the Tag Fighters one and it will literally look perfect. So it is really cool that for this figure we actually have two Dokkan Battle accurate figures of the full transformation. It would be awesome as well if we could get some figures that maybe resemble the background like blue heads behind the Super Saiyan God figures, but that might be asking for a little bit too much because oh my gosh, it is incredible how cool these two are. I definitely am gonna have some crazy setup with these guys when I eventually get some better shelf space. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. I am so glad that these figures turned out so good. Every year when the Dokkan Battle figures dropped, I'm like, please be good, please be good, please be good. And this year certainly did not disappoint whatsoever. I know a lot of people were looking forward to these, so I can happily say that they have the Dokkan Assets seal of approval. If you guys would like to pick these up again, I will leave some links in the description where you can do so. Thank you so much for watching once again. If you would like to support videos like this in the future, you can definitely head over to my Patreon. It is exclusively for the figure unboxing content. So if you want to see me open up more Dokkan Battle figures in the future, which I actually have a couple in storage, so I could definitely do those videos sooner rather than later. You can definitely go support me on there. But of course, you liking and subscribing the video, and most importantly, enjoying the content is what matters to me. Because obviously, I make these videos for your guys' enjoyment. And, truth be told, my own. I have a fun time making these for sure. But thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think of these figures in the comments section below. And other than that, I will see you guys in the next one. Dokkan Assets out. Peace.